I'm John Wackay's first team coach Mark Hams after this afternoon's 1-0 win against Bognor Regis. Mark, last week at Canvey, arguably we didn't deserve to lose. Did we deserve to win this week, do you think?
With the Canvey game, you could also argue that our defending in the first half was enough to lose, to deserve to lose the game. The second half was madness down there. I put that in the programme notes today. But did we deserve to win today? Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, I think we did a professional job. I thought we worked hard with the strategy that we said we was going to go into the game with. We kept from minute 1 pretty much to 90th minute. It sort of dropped at times, but yeah, I think we did. I think even against 11 men, I don't know, but yeah, because of the nature of the game, them going down to 10 and blah blah blah. Yeah, I thought we did.
It was a tale of 2 penalties though, wasn't it? One in the first half for us, one in the second half for them. What was your take on the first half incident which led to their goalkeeper being sent off?
Well, I was unsighted, to be honest with you, for the actual contact for the penalty. So I'm going to have to say I don't know. It sounds like I'm trying to jump out the question, but I'm not. I just didn't see it. I was unsighted. The thing with it being a sending off, my initial reaction, my gut feeling was that it wasn't a red card, but I was taking into consideration things like the new rules in terms of do they take into consideration would he have got the ball if the keeper hadn't made contact and things like that. That was just a gut feeling that it wasn't a sending off. I'm not going to start sticking up for him and telling the ref it shouldn't have been, but I didn't see the contact, don't think it was a red card.
And there was some confusion as well with their substitute goalkeeper coming on. Their centre forward seemed to take the goalkeeper's shirt, and then they brought on a substitute. What's going on over the bench down there? Because you're nearer to that than we were.
Yeah, I think the intention always was to get the goalkeeper on, but I think they just wanted a little bit more time. And where the referee's putting pressure on to get the game restarted as quick as possible, I think the striker was just saying, well, I'll go and goal for now. Then when you get the keeper on, I'll go back up front and make the substitution that way. That was the way I saw it.
And how pleased were you with Andre McCollin's penalty? Having missed one here against Dartford, how brave was he to step up?
Yeah, good question.
Great penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, the next training session after the Dartford game, the first thing we said was, listen, if we get a penalty at Canvey, who wants to take it? And Andre was more or less saying, well, if anybody thinks they're taking my penalties away from me, then think again, I'm not having it. So that's what you want to see. But I mean, at that stage, 4 or 5 others put their hands up and said, yeah, I want one. But Andre said, no, you're not having it. And Harry tried to take it off him today, and he wasn't tolerating it, which is pleasing.
And what about Rob Tolfrey's penalty save in the second half? That was a great save, wasn't it? Earned us 3 points as much as the goal in the first half.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as they stepped up to take it, I did fancy him. Just a gut feeling on Rob, because he has got that in him. I think his penalty saving is he's got quite a good record. I'm not saying he's got a good a massive percentage, but better than others, if you like. So I did fancy him. I'm really pleased with him. Really pleased with him.
And how impressed were you with Bognor today? The way they passed the ball, the way they kept the ball. Second half with 10 men. How much of an impact did it have? Or how much different would the game have been 11v11?
Two different questions there, really. I mean, the first one was the way we'd set ourselves up based on the reports that we had and us watching them was, if you want my opinion, I think they're the best footballing side in the division so far that we've played against. People might argue no, it's Wealdstone. We was having a debate in there. Someone said no, Wealdstone, and others said they thought Whitehall were quite good. I think that they're a very good footballing side. Their management teams come through the English FA coaching system, and they drilled it into them. And you notice that if they can't get it out to a full-back, they'll give it to a centre-half. If that doesn't happen, they'll give it to a centre midfielder. If he's marked, he'll come out and another one will come in and they'll attempt it. They'll always try and attempt to play from the back. But then the second part of the question, going down to 10 men, we basically said to them at half-time, but people will have an opinion and say, well, what you should do now, they're down to 10 men, is put someone there and change this, and don't do that and do that. Why change anything? They didn't change initially when they right up to the half-time point. All they did was took that left-sided player off and kept the rest of the shape exactly the same. So there was no need for us to try and be smart and try and fix what wasn't broken, really.
You often talk about work rate of players. How do you think Lewis Taylor did today?
Yeah, very well. And really, what we said was, because Dartford were a very good side, and the chances of us beating them were very slim. But what we said was he must have a good work rate in terms of going and putting pressure on the ball. You don't always have to try and win it, but go and put some form of pressure on the ball. And we said that had to be the case today. You could not, against Bognor today, have a let them have it mentality, because they'll tear you to pieces, and they've got the players to do that. So we said you've got to go and apply pressure as early as you can. You haven't got to win the ball. Don't slide in, because we'll be down to 10 men, and if somebody else does it behind you, that's down to 9 men. But against Dartford, we stopped doing that after 20 minutes, even before the sending off. But that was going back to what I said earlier, right from the start through to the 90th minute, we pretty much kept that strategy of going and putting early pressure on us as much as we could, and it was going to take a lot of lungs and a lot of hard work, and it's a big contribution to the win.
And there are a number of players making their debuts today. How do you think they all did? How do you think they fitted in with the team?
Yeah, I thought they did well. Greeny did. I mean, originally he was sort of dealing with just a winger. Then they went with a front two, so therefore his covering round duties came into play. Harry was full of energy, picked passes where necessary, and centre half did okay. Needs games. Looks a little bit rusty in areas, but he's kept a clean sheet, so he can come and argue his point to me. But they're a good side, and going back to what you said about them passing the ball. A lot of panic went around the place and a lot of tension, and because they were keeping the ball in sort of middle area as well, until you start getting awarded points for amounts of passes, there's no need for that panic button to go around this place. It really doesn't need to happen. At times it really doesn't help. I'm not having a crack at anybody because our support home and away is excellent, but there really does need the edge, including us on the bench. We can be the worst sometimes. The edge needs to be taken off the tension when the other team are on the ball, because all the time they're playing in and around the centre circle, that really isn't an issue. They're still 60-70 yards from goal.
Like you say, possession-wise, they had a lot of the ball second half, but I only recall Rob Toffee really making one save, and that's from the penalty spot.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's where stats sometimes really are just invented for people that watch football in pubs, because it's just something to give them to watch on the telly, because you can pass the ball to death in a game, but like you say, unless you actually put it in there, you're not going to win the game. But don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anywhere, because the way that they play, and they've scored 5 in each of their last 2 games, the way that they play will tear teams apart, and it will be very effective. But unless you put that possession into practice, you're not going to win games.
Cheers, that's right. Well
Cheers,
played
Simon.
today.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, John. Thank you.